let's start by quoting a creepy man. Quote, "Today we face incredibly well-funded gangs of fundamentalist Christian monsters who terrorize their fellow Americans by forcing their weaponized and twisted version of Christianity upon their helpless subordinates in our nation's armed forces." Now, is that from a radical imam or an Islamic militant? No, those words came from Mikey Weinstein, invited to the Pentagon to consult on religious tolerance. Yeah, this nut, who calls conservative Christians monstrosities, runs the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, which embraces anti-Christianity as one of the few prejudices left. Maybe he's been tapped by the Pentagon to stop all those Christian bombings. The story was ignored, except as Breitbart.com points out, a tongue kiss by Sally Quinn at the Washington Post, where the people quoted in the article actually equated preaching with rape. Look, when President Obama brought up self-radicalization, I thought he meant that it was bad. But with Benghazi, Fort Hood, the 100 granted benefits to terrorists, and now this, as Muslim supremacists blow us up, our government seems to reward them. So maybe I'm missing the point. Is it possible that by labeling Christians as fiends, he was looking to reward them? Are America's Christians now in line for free stuff, respect, and admiration on the Huffington Post? Maybe if I declare myself radicalized, will a pop star think I'm cute? You remember that horror movie when the babysitter's tormented by some creep who keeps calling her on the phone? The scary part comes when she realizes the calls are coming from inside the house. Well, America is that house, and the phone won't stop ringing. It's time to answer that call. You know, Dana, in the process of doing this story while you were taking a long nap, I got statements from the Pentagon, the Air Force, and again, I guess that was from the Air Force, saying that this happens a lot. People request meetings. It doesn't mean they endorse it.
Right. So, yeah, I think that that's probably right. This is not something that our military was proposing. Or I think it's wrong to even say he was a consultant. This guy was asking for a meeting. You invite stakeholders in. It's America. You can come in and state your have your statement and then get out of here.
All right.
That's what they were doing.
I got to ask Bob. This guy is somebody who loves the M word, monster or monstrous. He calls that's all he calls Christians. Doesn't that make him a religious bigot? And isn't he blinded by the fact that he's fighting Islamophobia while doing Christian phobia?
Yeah, you use the word monster a lot too, you know.
Yeah, only when describing you in a lovable way.
That's right.
You're like Sigmund.
Look, I think this is, as Dana points out, and when I was in the White House too, you'd have some real fruitcakes come in there to make their pitch.
Especially the Carter White House.
Yeah, particularly our White House. But I think that this there are maybe elements of the Christian movement on the very fringe that get into this sort of thing, but I think it's a little dangerous to be speaking about this as Christian monsters. Is a pretty indictable offense as far as I'm concerned. And anytime you take a whole religion like Christianity, and you paint it in that kind of with that kind of picture, you're making a terrible mistake.
It's the last acceptable form of discrimination.
Yeah.
And we saw with the Major General Hassan terror attack, that was an incident where the military was so indoctrinated in political correctness that they could not identify, even when he told them specifics, how he was going to kill. They did nothing about it. So I'm wondering, if he can get a meeting, can we get a meeting?
Yeah.
Why don't we ask for one?
Yeah.
The five goes to the Pentagon.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Bob, wasn't it Homeland Security that at one point a couple of years ago put out on their what to watch out for terror? Look for right-wing religious extremists.
Yes.
Well,
didn't they do that? I believe they did.
Well, there are a lot of religious extremists. I mean,
oh yes, yes, and they're blowing up marathons every single day.
I'm talking about Islamists, or there's in that group.
You cannot compare the two religions. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not comparing. I thought you were talking about.
No, I'm simply saying this is from Homeland Security. It almost kind of dovetails into what this guy is saying. We should be pushing those people. We should be locking the door of the Oval Office rather than letting this guy in.
You don't equate it at all with these other people, but I think there are certain Christian sects that are pretty. Well, you go up to West Virginia, you go to a snake service someday, and you'll see.
Yeah, but
snakes.
They don't lay snakes along a marathon route.
How do you know?
Oh my God! You're just asking questions, right?
Yes,